In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Take it away, boys.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Top 10 show back. I tried to do a little video intro. I'll get tighter about that. And maybe we can shorten that one, Matt Knost. But welcome, everybody, to the top 10 show. I am John Rocha.
I am Matt Knost. And I think that's the first time we've ever sat through the intro for the show. Outside of the show.
Agreed. Yeah. I thought I'd try something new because I've been learning how to do more and more with StreamYard, and one of those things you can play a video and it like kind of slides right into the show starting. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to do that for our show, kind of do an end point and a start point that people are used to with hearing our music, so we don't lose that for people who watch us on camera. But maybe we'll record one that's a little bit quicker than the 30-second one that we use now or have been using for quite some time, or maybe not. I don't know. But it's something we're certainly something we might do in the future. Sure.
All possibilities are on the table. It's only the second week of doing this from home.
Yeah,
so it's not exactly routine at this point.
Yeah, how are you doing with everything, man? How's it going over there in your land of self-isolation?
Fine. We have tenants moving in this weekend, so that's good.
You what?
I have tenants moving in this weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's all finished. So that chapter of my life is now complete and get to move forward. So I have finishing touches I need to sweep up and stuff down there, but it's been mundane. I mean, it's just doing stuff around the house and watching some more movies. I broke out an old Xbox that isn't mine.
Oh.
Somehow have after all these years. The guy just told me to keep it, and I was like, I have no use for this. So it's been sitting in a box forever, but I broke it out and played a couple games.
Nice.
Sure. What are you doing?
Kind of this. I mean, I've just been basically just working on the channel, my YouTube channel. So that's basically been the focus to kind of keep me busy doing stuff like that. We found out today, or we found out yesterday, that Lindley's going to be furloughed today. So as we're recording this, so we're going to that's a whole new chapter in our life to see what the deal is. Of course, they signed that stimulus package, so I don't know if that changes everything or not, but that's apparently what's going on. We found out today, or yesterday rather, and we'll find out what happens next week. But yeah, we've been like kind of dancing. We've been watching TV at night, taking walks late at night because we don't want to, kind of see too many people and keep that social distancing going, but also want to keep a little bit of exercise. So we're both just taking an hour-long walks at night and kind of catching up with each other and our days. And yeah, just recording shows, being on shows, just trying to do all of that and get better at this and whatever. So just kind of learning how to build the channel up and get more and more viewers on my side of things. But then also like kind of just looking at what else I want to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, this is awesome. But I don't know how sustainable it is. It's been 6 months. I'm not further ahead than I would like to be. So we'll see on that. Are you looking? Have you been
teach yourself skills?
Yeah, I know. So I'm trying to do. I've been trying to teach myself some skills.
That's all I do is like, all right, I need to figure out if I can do this project, and then do a bit of research, and then all right, what do I have that can help me, and then just move forward. Boom, bang out, learn a new skill. I've done over the past couple of weeks, I've learned a brand new skill and be like, oh, that's really helpful. It's gonna, pay dividends down the road. But it's just
nice.
I don't know, trying to keep my brain active, do things, get as much done like humanly possible, and also like relax a little bit. But I read this guy that used to be on subs nonstop. I don't know what his job was on the sub. Trying to come up with something. Like, I don't remember, what his delineation was there, but he's like, it's a matter of, if you're going to get through it, it's trying to set some sort of normal routine for yourself. So you're active, but then you set in times where like, just veg out, do stuff here. And then it goes back to, so I have certain things that are recurring and then mix in others, etc. But just to break up the monotony of the day. Otherwise you can just, it's pure lethargy. You're just going to sit there and do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why working on the channel has been kind of like, okay, this is a lot, and it keeps my mind active and everything like that. But I did try and go out to get toilet paper this morning at the Target, and they only had the smaller ones available. Then I went over to Costco. Holy Mary, Mother of God, dude, that was insane. Didn't even stay that long because I was like, this is nuts. It's like, it looks like a theme park. They've set out the steel barriers. And I was like, well, how long? And I sat in that line for an hour. And I think I went 4 people or 5 people. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
You got to get there like 6 in the morning or some shit. And then they were out of toilet paper anyway. So I was like, well, what's the point of even going in here? So I don't understand the logic, though, of that people are like, okay, like everything is fine. I know you're home, but they just passed the package. So people are going to be fine. There's money. It's fine. But still, people are nutty panic buying like crazy. And I think the stores are also having to like keep people, like minimum amount of people in the store, which is what's also causing the lines. They can't have people just storming the store and having people like not keep that 6 feet of distance.
Exactly. I had to go to Home Depot twice yesterday and sat insanely long line for the first one, and the second one had a long line. But I had to touch of stuff. I had to go pick up a couple things. I used what I needed, and I was like, you know what? I might as well return it now because I'm not going to be going back to Home Depot for a while, and this is just going to sit here. It is. I don't have. I mean, I'm going to have other stuff to do around our place, but I'm eating for the next week. Like that's my goals. We have so many fucking weeds. It's amazing, and I hate weeding. It's one of my all-time. Like I fucking hate weeding. It was a punishment chore type of thing I had to do as a kid.
Yeah.
Eventually it became part of, if you want to make your allowance, you got to go weed, and I hate weed. I am happy to do anything else around here. Anything else. I don't care what it is. But next week it's going to be fucking weeding, man. And we got damn weeds. I'm going to be on my knees and ass for hours.
You go outside, you weed that. No.
Well, my dad is the type of dude who he loves his garden. He doesn't do it as much anymore.
Right.
Because where they live, they've got too many like deer walking through and stuff, and you know, bigger animals than that too. And they're just going to eat it all.
Yeah.
What's the fucking point? And he's like, I understand that. So he would spend 7-8 hours there Saturday and Sunday. Loved it. Spent weekends.
Oh my God, really?
Oh yeah. Wow. Just crazy talk, and just so it's not like there was a little bit of fucking weeding.
Yeah.
Just this is a good 6-hour project. Go have fun and be like, I fucking hate weeding. I hate weeding. Followed by having to mow after it just rained, but there's just you're pushing through mud at certain points, and you're like, this fucking sucks.
I feel bad for the people who used to do it before Walkman. Like I had a Walkman cassette and CD whenever I would mow the lawn. And of course, now you have the iPhone or whatever if you have to do any kind of yard work. But like was always the saving grace. At least I could listen to my music while I did this, because just sitting there with my own thoughts for 4 hours as I weed or mow the grass would have drove me insane. For me, it's raking leaves. I fucking hate raking leaves. That was also on your side, like the punishment. My dad would be like, because we had this massive hill in our backyard growing up in Virginia.
Sure.
So raking those leaves all the way down the fucking hill, then putting it in the bag, and then you get the stray leaf that's hanging out so your father can walk out and go, well, you missed a few. You missed a few up there. You bastard.
If they've been sitting there for a while, so the bottom layer is already starting to fucking deteriorate.
Oh, yeah.
Sit there and rake for like 20 minutes to get all of it up. And you're like, now I got to pick it up and touch it. It's fine when they're all dry and fluffy, but this group, like slimy, primordial, knows what's growing in this. Go pick it up.
Yeah.
Fearful of whatever bugs you're going to find. Yeah. But I still hate weeding more because it was more consistent. Leaves is just fall.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad never did me. He liked doing the weeding like your dad, so I didn't get in. I never got that task because he would always just get upset if I didn't do it well enough. So he would just do it himself. But the mowing and the raking, that was definitely my area. So
in high school, there was a neighborhood by us that their policy for leaves was they took it out to the curb, and then the city came through and picked it up.
Right.
So my buddy had this like Volvo, you know, those Volvo family car tank things from the 90s. They all look the same.
Yeah.
They were holdover from Cold War era manufacturing plant.
Yep.
Volvo. And he was like, oh shit. And we just drove through like as many of them as we could, just kicking up leaves. So 16-year-old. As an adult, you'd be like, you fucking pricks. But we're just like, bang. And eventually, we're just giggling. You know what I mean? And eventually, after doing this like a couple times in one night, we just probably took out like 15 total piles. My buddy's car starts smoking because a few leaves had gotten into where the engine was.
Oh, shit.
But there's just smoke coming up, and we're like, maybe we should stop. Oh, man.
That's fucking brilliant, man.
Yeah, we don't get that shit out here, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's rarely where you get any kind of that raking of the leaves type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and every place I've ever lived out here, they have someone who like does the gardening or does all that kind of jazz for us. Thank God, so I don't have to worry about that crap, you know. But maybe someday.
No, I'm officially doing that stuff now. So
yeah,
boo.
Homeowner.
Yeah, there are trade-offs.
Have you watched anything new? You said you've been watching movies, or are you just going back and watching stuff that you already enjoyed before? Was there any new movie that you took a chance on?
Mostly so far, just TV shows.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Did the run through Tiger King. Looking forward to Ozark tomorrow.
Yeah. I just started Tiger King yesterday. What?
How many in are you?
I'm just one because I was like, this is beyond nuts. Like, I don't know if I'm going to finish it out, but everyone seems to say like, stick with it. It gets even crazier. So maybe I will. Usually
the problem for me with these documentaries is they don't have enough to fill out the order run that they're doing.
Right.
There's a lot of flashbacks in the story. Like you're retelling the same story kind of over and over and over to pad the 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like, no, man, every twist and turn, like they just keep stacking. And this story's, I mean, it's crazy.
All right. I guess I'll do it.
Yeah. We can talk about it at a later date after you've seen it and everybody else is caught up.
That might not be a bad idea to do a little mini review on the top 10.
Sure.
Have you been writing any stand-up while you're chilling out there at the house or no?
Not really. I mean, honestly, the focus has been, oh shit, those is happening. We're showing off the apartments. Like the fear has been that side of it. So that's all my brain has been focused on is basically that. And then the day-to-day BS of whatever regular life is, but out of extraneous shit. So now that that's done, I'll have even more free time. Trust me, I'm going to try and get out of weeding as much as I possibly can. It's got to be done, but Garcetti's keeping us here for at least another month.
That's true, but people are looking for work, so maybe you could hire someone to do your weeding, man. Why not?
Quite possibly. Yeah, but I could do it myself and just suck it up and not enjoy it. And be finished, and then
that's true.
It never ends.
Well, I mean, I hope all of you all who are listening or watching us are doing what you can do to kind of like, deal with the self-isolation. And as Matt said, take that time for yourself to kind of detox and relax a little bit, but also kind of work on things to kind of maybe give you some new skills or kind of open the door to another thing. There's nothing better than making use of the time you've been given, because obviously this wasn't something you wanted to do, but you've been kind of forced to do by the government or by whoever's in charge of whatever's going on there. So maybe you turn this into a positive from a negative and do something that kind of pushes you forward. So hopefully all of you are doing that in your own way.
May I?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know of some other entity other than a government that's
well, I mean, like businesses have taken it upon themselves too to kind of send people home or furlough people. That's what I mean. But the government themselves is like, don't go to the parks, don't go to the beaches. But the businesses, owners are the ones going like, all right, stay home, that kind of thing. So, or you're furloughed, something like that.
True. But there's also businesses where their water, power, and other things are getting cut off here in the city because they're non-essential to get them to close.
Yeah, right. I didn't know we were doing that, and I read an article about that the other day. I was like, wow, that is full on extreme. And of course, you get the nuts coming out. Oh, this is the way they want to control us. This is the way they want to do this and turn us into a police state, martial law. And I'm like, this is just because Americans just hate being told what to do, and they will try to get away with as much as possible until you have to force them to finally stop doing something. And that's what I think turning off the water and power is all about. Just like, you guys don't listen, do you? Get the hell home. Shut the damn business down.
Yeah, true. I don't know. Yeah. Weird time, because there is no blueprint for this type of situation. We have one for every other natural disaster, but
yeah,
it's been a long time since we had something this, and to be able to recognize it in real time for what it is, so people could basically, distance themselves and try and slow down the pace of this fucking thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thankful we don't live in New York, man, because that feels like a mass unit out there, and I feel so bad for anybody who's in New York and dealing with that stuff, because man, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. And the fact that people leaving there have to self-quarantine just because of the threat of contagion getting out from there.
Yeah.
At what point do you lock down the island and just, you're in your own quarantine zone? It's like every apocalyptic movie. But fucking, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. See. It's really weird. It's hard not to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it, but you not talk about it. Because everybody's heard it and we're all experiencing it. So it's not like we're going to shed fucking new light on this experience for anybody out there. And yet it is so uniquely bizarre. It's impossible not to be like the reality of the situation. Have you seen the clips where they put together of foreign landmark cities, usually wildly busy areas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fly drones over it and take pictures. And I saw a collage of, it's 28 days later across the world. There's just tumbleweeds of newspaper going down. And you're like, all right, this seems a little spooky.
The Vegas ones were the most interesting ones to look at. I went through a wormhole, the Vegas ones, all these places they're used to seeing teeming with people, just seeing at different times of the day, there's nobody there, or 3 or 4 people walking at separate spots, completely away from each other. It's so interesting, man.
There was, I read an article in the Post about, they were talking about the early rollout in Vegas and what was happening. And they went and talked to a smaller casino owner, and he was having a discussion. I actually don't know where the keys are for the doors. We've been open straight for 18 years. It's never. So he had to find the keys. And I'm like, that's actually a damn good point. There is a set of keys that never get used. Yeah, exactly.
Where do I put these things? So nutty. Well, we'll try to take your mind off of it because we got ourselves a fun little top 10 show going on today. And big shout out to one of our big fans, patrons, and helpers to the top 10 show, Chris Alexakos. We are doing his topic. He is a patron of the show. And kind of a thank you for all the hard work he's done for us. We asked him to please pick a topic in honor of him. And so he has chosen that topic, right, Matt?
Yeah, just going busting his ass to get all the relists and the shout outs. Although we're supposed to be doing shout outs today, but there was a snafu on the list. So we'll have it for next week.
Yeah, definitely next week.
Yeah. We'll do it on the following week's show. So apologize for the delay on the shout outs. But we will get to it as we always do. Anyway, Chris helps us so much, and we both had the discussion of he's never picked a show, and we've never, this seems like something to be tailor-made as a thank you for all the countless time in tracking down people and whatnot for that show. So our thank you to him, and he chose foreign speaking directors?
Yeah, best films.
Not English, rather.
Right, best films by a non-English director. And so it was an interesting list.
Huh? No, he chose the directors singularly, not the films. The breakdown is the best. Basically, you're picking the individual director.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. That's fine.
Oh, no, I misread it.
Yeah.
All right. I chose directors. I apologize.
Oh, that's fine. I'm sure those directors have directed great films that you've enjoyed. So you just pick one film from each of those directors, so you're good to go. It's no big deal.
Yeah, but it's a different calculus at that point because sometimes an individual film from one is higher than the collective, but I chose to put the collective because he had a higher output of work that I loved.
Well, do you want me to vamp for like 5 minutes while you adjust your list? Okay.
No. I just my list is in error, and I apologize. My hair is looking great. Are you ready for 3 months of no haircut?
There's no fucking way that's happening. There's no way that's happening.
Social distancing. You're going to let some person who's been in close proximity with people all day long be in proximity to you? That's called a non-essential business, man.
I see people freaking out about this, and I'm just like, nah, man. I'm going to call like my hairdresser and ask her like, okay, what's your situation? Are you taking people? Do you have a chair at your house? And what's the distance between? But maybe you're right.
Your hair from 6 feet away.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe because she has multiple people coming to talk to her, she could spread it to me. That's a good point. But if I wear my mask the whole time, doesn't that take care of the problem? I don't know.
I'm sure it minimizes the problem. It doesn't take care of it.
Yeah.
Reduce your risk, don't eliminate it. Unless you
I'll just shave it.
Full respirator. You wear eye protection, I guess, perhaps, in case you like sneezes in your area.
I might just shave it, Matt. I might just shave it all and keep it bald until this is over, and then let it grow out again.
Go back to the military high and tight.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. I'm sure Lindley wouldn't mind cutting my hair. So now that she's going to be home and cutting it all off, so it wouldn't be a problem. I don't think it's a shame I don't live near my mom because my mom is a hairdresser. I could just go over to her house and have her do it for me. So unfortunately, sad but true. Anyway, so this week we're doing best films by a foreign language director, non-English director, non-English speaking director. So I imagine foreign language director, but you say non-English because for some people, who are listening to us, these are their country's directors. So I want to say non-English speaking director is what we put out. So this is going to be a fun list, certainly a very personal list for both of us. And there are some things that are on there because I respect it as a work of art. And there are some things that are on there because I just love it. And that's that. So I don't know how Matt did his list, but that's how I did my list. So
yes, I did my list incorrectly. So you want to jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to tell them how it works?
Once we set a topic, we go our individual ways. Some of us screw it up, others get it right. Personal top 10 list. We create the show. Then we show back up here. Look at this. I'm all kind of jumbled.
I love it.
3, he does his bottom 3. I do my next 2, he does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
Kaboom! All
right. By and large, I'm happy with the list overall.
Okay, cool.
All right, so at 10, I put down Alfonso Cuarón, and I'd say Azkaban is his best movie.
Oh wow! Okay.
Just for pure rewatchability. Did you pick him as one of his movies?
No, I did not. Okay.
We could punt that way. Because I was looking at the body of work. He's made 2 or 3 films that I think are good, if not excellent. That and a couple I see on a decent clip. One in particular.
Yeah.
Azkaban is everybody's favorite of the Harry Potter, but it really is. You saw the depth of the story in that one, like how it's a mature story, and it finally really reveals itself to be that. In that moment, there's been the looming danger before, but now you see the dark side of this world of creating, and it gives you a sense of scope as to how bad Voldemort really is. So that was my number 10.
I think that's a great choice. I mean, I would probably lean more towards Gravity just because I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago or a week ago about the visuals of that whole thing going on. But Azkaban is a great choice. I do enjoy that movie. I love what he was able to do with the characters. And certainly it is a leap from the Christopher Columbus first 2 films into the Cuarón film. Like it's like you do in your own life when you're a kid. As soon as you cross that line into that early teen years, you start to understand that the world is not as black and white as you remember, as you were told, or as good and evil as you were told. That there is a lot of gray and there's a lot of complicated stuff that goes on between friends over the years, and twists and turns and betrayals, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, of course, the film also comes back to remembering the power of family and the power of love and all of that. So you see it all through that movie, but it never lets go of the darkness. And the Sirius Black character is so fantastic when he's introduced in the movie that it's just such one of these legendary characters that Gary Oldman creates throughout his entire resume, you know? So it's just fantastic. I enjoyed it too.
Yeah. Further cementing, dude, that guy he can be anything he wants.
Yeah.
Art film. It's truly impressive when you look at, someone was talking about how like wide a range an actor was. It was on Twitter, and in essence, someone put back and be like, yeah, but what about Oldman? And just created a collage. And when you look at this massive list of completely different characters, it's, he's a chameleon flat out.
Agreed.
All right. So that was my 10.
Mm-hmm.
My 9 in my incorrect list, I chose Del Toro. And for him, I think I'll go Hellboy.
Okay. Nice choice, man.
Yeah, be that or be Hellboy 2. But you have those two. Pan's Labyrinth is super interesting.
Yeah.
Water, I think I'm going to less over time.
Me too.
It's already waning. I liked it in the moment, and then now in hindsight, it's just like, It's not, Del Toro, he made my list. So, yeah, and Hellboy, I mean, we've talked about it, comes up on comic book movie lists, relatively often. It's to bring to life, to use his eccentricities within that one, and it flourishes even more in the second one, but to bring to life this ridiculous character and it looks so real from moment one, you give him all, basically all your confidence is instilled within him from the jump in that movie, because it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy when you hear like there's a talking tree and a talking raccoon. It's utterly ridiculous, but you see the execution. You're like, well, they know exactly what those characters are from. And he pulls that off, beautifully. I haven't seen Crimson Peak. Was that any good?
No, it really wasn't. That's the thing with Del Toro is there's an uneven nature to his films that can bother. At least it bothers me. The one that when he knocks it out of the park, he knocks it out of the park. But when he doesn't, it's pretty telling how limited he can be as a filmmaker with some of his movies that don't work, like Crimson's Peak. And a number of other films that he's done that I just wasn't the biggest fan of. And I do think Shape of Water, I agree with you. I think Shape of Water was like all of us getting caught up with this idea of like him winning an Oscar, and this film is such an interestingly unique film, and the blending of the fantastical with the realism of the world and the time period it's set. All of that was fun. But in the long run, are people going to be talking about this film like they talk about Pan's Labyrinth, or they talk about Hellboy?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think so. But visually, you can never question the man's eye as a director. It's incredible what he's able to bring to life. And he's also one of the most affable people you'll ever meet. Just a ball of warmth. And it kind of blows you away how that incredibly nice, fun, playful dude, jolly guy can create some of the most spine-tingling horror or edge of your seat stuff. It's really surprising.
Yeah. I mean, they always say the guys that play the villains, if you meet them in real life, they're the nicest people you've ever met.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
but they manage to play like an excellent villain. Maybe it's just they tap into everything they're not. Type of thing,
and don't get to be, so they get to play around with it.
Yeah, just something they would never be, but it's always fascinated them because it's the polar opposite.
Yep, agreed. What's your number 8?
I took Frank Capra.
Oh, damn!
It's a Wonderful Life.
Didn't even think about Capra. Wow, that's a great choice.
He's Italian. I made sure.
He is.
I was like, because I always heard he's not from here, but I was like, really, with a name like Frank Capra?
Yep.
It's like East Coast somewhere, especially Frank.
Yeah.
Francis Capra. Like, all right. It lends more credence in my mind. Frank seems like just such an American type of, Italian, it's Frank Capra.
Yeah.
Just makes me do that. Hey. But It's a Wonderful Life. Look, I was late to this, and this is how good it is.
Yeah.
Knowing what the story is beforehand, and I was, this was 5 years ago or something that I watched it the first time, 4 years ago, and held off I already know what the movie is. You see it, and is as good as advertised. The pacing is excellent for a movie from then, it's crazy how good the pacing is, and a really fully, formed story. It's got distinct acts in it, and I mean, it's impressive all these years later.
Yeah,
how ahead of his time he was in this movie, because it's still damn good. I see why it's a freaking Christmas classic.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it on the show, but it's worth pointing out over and over again. The thing about this movie that makes it incredible is the fact that it's about suicide. It's really about suicide. This guy confronting his life and at that moment ready to take his own life. And yes, it's a Christmas movie. It's in the end a feel-good movie, but there's a lot of darkness in this movie throughout, and it's pretty surprising how it became a holiday classic. Because I mean, you have the stuff with Donna Reed and her like smashing that record and her frustration, and Jimmy Stewart comes back in and he like grabs her and he says, I don't want to blah blah blah, and he's just like, wow.
When he yells at the kids.
Intense. Yeah.
Just a dad bringing his day home with. My dad did it to me too.
Sure.
Kids, unfortunately, you try not to, but they're just age where it's like, oh my fucking God. And just, I can't deal with this. I just can't.
Learn the song already.
Exactly. Playing in the background, and you're just looking for anything. This powder keg is already exploding.
Yeah. But also the way he paces the film is great too, because he does give you a villain that all of us can universally know, right? This person who's a rich person who doesn't care about people who are, like struggling or have had some bad breaks in their life. All he cares about is the ledger, the numbers in the ledger, and the way that leads to terrible treatment of human beings and terrible treatment of people. And so it's something you can relate to. And then you see what the vision is of the world without him, and so many of us get caught up in, and I think a lot of people do, who commit suicide or have mental health issues. They don't really see how other people see them, the value that people see in their presence in their lives. So when that gets removed, it feels almost like, yes, I should do this because it doesn't make any sense, and I'm not happy here. And in the long run, it leads to what it leads to. But if you don't get the right comment, and that's the thing, the angel shows up, shows him what his life could have been like, or what the world would have been like without him. And he realizes how much more an effect he has on the world. And it's not even an arrogant thing. It's more a matter of like, this is how many people you've touched, So I love it for that reason.
Yeah, it's an absolute classic. And I'm glad that I finally came around to it. Well, it's just, you get told it so many times. It felt like I'd already seen it. So the magic, it would have been lost. It's just like, I know the entire beats of this movie. Now, I didn't, but in that, I don't know the hearing loss fully. I didn't know the backstory, that type of thing. But I pieced together. Then they have like something because of the whispering thing over the years. But anyway, but yeah, it good job, Capra. It's a Wonderful Life. It's making the list. What do you got at 10?
Co-signed by Matt Knost. I got to look up this person's name because I'll tell you the name of the movie. Because
I may have it.
Okay. It's what's his name? Yes, Oliver Hirschbiegel is the name of the director. He's a German.
I do not have Oliver Hirschbiegel's name on my list.
Well, that's the thing. I did. If we were looking at like breadth of work, would have been, of course, my list would have been different. But for me,
you did it right. I screwed up. So
no, okay. Well,
direct.
Well, he directed Downfall, which is one of my favorite films ever. The Hitler
film.
The
Hitler one. Okay.
Yeah, with Bruno Ganz as Hitler. I think there've been so many different movies that have portrayed Hitler, and you've seen the Nazi regime from a certain point of view. But this is one that really walked that line of trying to show you a person in all their dimensions who has just been like kind of categorized as evil. And of course, he is evil. He did terrible things, killed thousands of Jews in the Holocaust and everything like that. His policies were terrible to people in the LGBTQ community. So many people were victims. And of course, he started a world war. So many people died, not just in his own country, but around the world because of actions that he took. But looking at this film is about the exploration of those final few days when he's in that bunker. And then you see the kind of just dedication that his people had to him that is just unsettling and so weird to me to see that, because like I'm just so always hyper aware of people who are lying or backstabbing or, you know, like manipulating situations. And so that when I'm in it, I know, look, I know I'm being manipulated, but I'm going to do this of my own free will. But these people like are just so willingly going along with him all the way to the end. And you see the progression of the mania, right? And you see it through this actress, through the characters, right? The young secretary's point of view. I think Alexandra Maria Luna, I think is her name. And you see it through her point of view and her watching the progression of Hitler just kind of devolve into this maniac by the end, where he takes his own life. And he has these like quiet moments with her, quiet scenes with her, that you just enjoy watching. Me personally, because you know, remove yourself from the situation, just watching an actor do this characterization, and the film overall works really well as a piece about that time.
It does. To be in that inner bunker.
Yeah.
And those, you know, when you see what's her name? Was it Ava Braun?
Yeah, Ava Braun, yeah.
Getting drunk with all the other people, knowing that the ship is sinking and might as well enjoy the last few moments that I can. The desperation, you can see it within, you know, her eyes as she's kind of floating through the scene, realizing that this is all fleeting and it's about to end. It's a brutal movie.
Yeah, and it got unfairly vilified because people came out and were like, "Oh, they're humanizing Hitler." He was a human. I think one of the things that is good to do is to explore how these things can happen, why these things happen, and understand the human underneath the evilness, so that you can understand and see the patterns before they develop. If this ever happens again. And so for me, that's what I enjoy about the movie. And Gans did a fantastic job bringing him to life. So that's why it's 100%.
If you just make him a monster, and you don't look at it as a person, then you're going to fall into the trap of everything you're talking about, not being able to spot the warning signs earlier.
Yeah.
That was a monster. That was crazy. That will never happen again type of thing. So don't even worry about it. Like, it's already happened. So we need to worry about it because it's got to end if we don't.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got next?
My number 9, and I had to limit the number of Kurosawa films on this thing, but I had to go with this one, and that is Ran, R-A-N, the Akira Kurosawa film that he did about King Lear.
Okay, how do you want to do this? Because I have Kurosawa.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to talk about both movies then, or do you want to talk about this one now? Because I was going to choose another one. It's probably on your list anyway.
Okay, well then let's wait then. That's fine. Let's punt it. And we'll talk about it when we get to where whoever has it highest, then we'll talk about all the films.
Well,
do you think?
Yeah.
Or no?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. We're gonna have one for sure. Because I did write a director and I picked my favorite movie. On some of them, I put 2 and 3, just like one type of thing.
I totally get it.
Yeah, I can play along with we pick one movie.
Okay. My number 2, or my number 8 is the French film Breathless. And I think it's from Jean-Paul Belmondo, if I've got that right.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Jean-Paul Belmondo is the actor. I apologize. It is Jean-Luc Godard, Breathless. This is one of, I remember when I was getting into the idea of foreign film, the French cinema is the thing that, and Japanese cinema are the two things that drove me into foreign film, right? But the French cinema, I'm a little more judgmental of the French cinema than I am of the Japanese cinema. So for me, Breathless was one of those ones that kind of broke through, and it's one that I come back to all the time and revisit because I really enjoy the nature of the film and what happens in it. Jean-Paul Belmondo is the actor. He's the lead in the film, and he plays this guy who's running from the law, a low-level gangster. He like hooks up with this girl and what they do, and these conversations they have throughout the city as he keeps escaping the cops and escaping being hunted down by the people throughout Paris. And he's just kind of walking and they're talking about life and having philosophical discussions about the world and all this kind of things. But all this other action is happening around them as they're having these random discussions about stuff. And it's just fascinating, you know? And I don't know if you ever had this experience in college, but I think people have this experience where they randomly like just have a weird day with somebody out of nowhere because they had extra time in the day and one thing leads to another. And it's just like like a one-day thing. And I had that with a couple of people before in my life. And so it's just like, this is very reminiscent of that, but I also enjoy the script. I enjoy the direction throughout, and the way he kind of makes you feel as if you're walking alongside them or with them while they're having the conversation. The camera becomes like another person in the conversation. So I just thoroughly enjoy the movie. It's one I come back to all the time. And I'm not always the biggest Jean-Luc Godard fan or French New Wave fan, but this one really does it for me. Yeah.
All right. Nice. Yeah, I haven't. I wish I could add to that. I don't believe I've seen it. So.
Oh, okay. And don't watch the Richard Gere remake, for fuck's sake. All right. What's your number 7, bro?
7. I'm gonna take Birdman.
Okay.
Andro Inarutu.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic. I was spellbound the first time I saw that movie. Absolutely spellbound until the very end, and I loved the ending, the entire message of it. This where attempting to do one continuous shot, and just following around the music within it as it builds in certain moments, like with drums, whatnot, really adds to the overall texture of the movie. And it's interesting to basically do a meta movie, an actor contemplating, I've done this other one role and I want to do this over here. Am I just dealing with the struggle of identity and self-worth? It sang to me. That was a year to me. It was clearly, that was my favorite picture of the movie, the year, hands down. That one hold up, test of time for me. But it's also one that I will wait durations of time and then watch it again, type of thing. I can't. Yeah. It won't be on constant rotation for me, but every few years, sit down, watch that again.
Yeah, I could see that, absolutely. That's one of my favorites as well. Certainly the rebirth of Michael Keaton, who had been kind of sitting on the sidelines doing direct to DVD films or direct to syndication type films. And we had forgotten, or we had been wondering whatever happened to Michael Keaton and been waiting for him to come back in some form. He's such a talent that you can only resist him for so long. And he finally found his way into this position, and he was fantastic in the movie. And I've enjoyed him in just about everything else he's done since that time as well. He's just been so good.
Pretty much. I mean, he's had a few just, kind of DOA. They were bland, but it's also a sign of quality on some level, because he just keeps getting to churn out work. He is consistently working at this point.
Yeah.
I believe the story goes, he in essence was not blackballed, but he didn't want to do that next Batman.
Yep.
And they offered him an absurd amount of money, and he turned it down, and all the other studios went, I can't believe you turned this down, type of thing. And in essence, if you're not willing to do that for that when it's such an easy moneymaker, we'll move on, type deal.
Yeah. No, but Inarritu's fantastic director, so it's a great choice, Matt. What's your 6?
6, I've got Spirited Away.
Oh, okay, definitely, man. Take it away. I figured that was going to end up on your list. Yeah,
you got to choose one. There's a bunch to choose from, but that is the one that I think really hooked me into that world and kind of opened up this huge catalog of other movies that go and explore. Some I like more than others. Some I find interesting standalones in and of themselves, but Spirited Away is one where I can revisit that. I could go back, the magic that they're creating within it, or he creates within it through his direction, really, really speaks, and it cuts across, different cultures, because it's in essence taking aspects of Japanese folklore and telling a modern tale with it. And that type of, to realize that all those stories are relatively universal. This is just their version of telling something that we may have heard.
Yeah.
But it cuts across cultural differences and, different languages you can dub it into, and the message and theme is universal to all. It's really impressive, especially, that's what I like about animation. You can take these dramatic leaps because you can do, all possibilities are there. So you can tell an advanced story with all this amazing imagery that you wouldn't be able to do in CGI.
Yeah, normally. Yeah. It is one of those ones, a lot of people love the Miyazaki films and what they bring to the table. And some people don't, and they almost feel like a cult thing, because when people talk about Disney or Pixar or all these things, they rarely like bring up the Miyazaki stuff at the same level as those other films. They see them as like art house animation films, and they're actually more than that. And so when you actually watch them, you can connect to the universal themes and the concepts that are being brought up in the film. So yeah, absolutely. Spirited Away is one of those ones too, like where you're just like, well, what's real, what isn't real, what a fantastical exploration of this idea and the family and everything like that. So definitely, yeah.
I mean, like her parents turning into pigs, and it reminds you kind of the boys turning into donkeys in Pinocchio.
Right.
Bringing in this motif, but that would look strange in CGI, whereas in animation, it's a more palatable transition. At least to watch, oh shit, what was the name of that fucking movie? Damn it. Came out last summer.
Okay.
It was about the guy, he was a telemarketer, and then eventually figured out if he did his white voice.
Oh, Sorry to Bother You.
Sorry to bother, thank you.
I'm
thinking about the damn poster of him on it, and then it just has the wording around, and I couldn't visualize the damn title. But when they transition in the third act, I don't want to spoil. You know what I mean? It doesn't look real. It's like, well, okay. Plus that movie, that when it makes that turn, I'm like, you lost me. You had me up until then, and you just fucking lost me. I get what you're saying, but you've already expressed a lot, especially when he's on the stairs rapping. That was so honest, so honest. I was laughing because it hurt.
Yeah.
But I was laughing in the theater. I was like, that's so fucking funny. That is so funny. I've been in rooms where that has happened. And you're like, this is disgusting.
It's one of those universal truths that you have experienced or you've watched, or maybe even somebody's been guilty, somebody or somebody's been guilty.
Or
you're watching it happen. You're like, oh yeah.
Or you never thought about it. You see it and you're like, oh, that's so true. That is, it has to be the way it is, because it just seems honest. And I remember like a big college frat party type of thing. I never joined, but I had friends in it. So they'd invite me, hey, you want to come? We're doing this thing. It's like, sure, why not? Otherwise, I'm going to a house party in my neighborhood type of thing.
Right.
6 one way, half a dozen the other. Let's go over here. And they would hire bands and rappers, and every once and again, like a few times a year. I've been in that room. I have. Sad as that is to say. But Spirited Away. His work overall is absolutely impressive, but this is the one that unlocked, all those films for me, and kind of brought me back a little bit towards it. Was, when I was coming back to animation and enjoying it again, that was one of the things that kind of helped basically reinvigorate something that I used to love.
Nice. All right. Well, then my number 7 is Bong Joon-ho, and I put Parasyte there.
All right, that is a pun.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Then my number 6 is Old Boy, Park Chan-wook's film, the original Old Boy.
Great call.
Yeah.
Great call.
Okay. Yeah, this is one that I know we've talked about it before, and you've mentioned this. It's not one you're going to run back and see over and over again, but the effect of seeing it once is enough to last you a lifetime, because it is such a interesting film with so many twists and turns that you think is one thing at 1 second, and then it's a completely different thing in the next. And when it makes that turn or makes that switch, you're just like, what am I watching now? What have I been watching the whole time? And then you have to, like, in real time, as you're watching the rest of the movie, your mind can't help but drift back to the scenes you saw before. And you're like, oh my God, what am I watching here? And then when you see that end, that brutal ending, you're just like, wow, this is just, you can't let go of that feeling ever again. It's one of those films, like I said, you watch it once and you'll never forget your reaction to that twist when it happens at the end. And
without a doubt.
And when you watch it again, it's an even richer experience to see where the clues were throughout the whole movie. And it's just so well directed. The pace of it, the cinematography, the colors that he uses, the times when things are hazy, the times when things are clear, the brutality and the flashbacks, the innocence of the flashbacks and what they lead to. So much of it is just so mixed in such a fantastic way that it's one of those ones that I own and I will pop on every few months and just watch it, because it's just such a good, well-made film, fantastic script, and the pacing of it works so well. And it's a long film. It's not a short film, but you never feel it. You never feel it. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, the first time I watched that, I watched it on my phone in an airport.
Oh, wow.
Well, we had a layover, and I was like, you know what? I can watch this here, and I got Wi-Fi reception because battery on my laptop at that time was just shot. So it's like, I can't plug in anywhere. So I just do this. And I was utterly riveted. And then I watched it like 2 weeks later again on my TV. And it was like, this movie. And then after that, I waited a while to see it another time. But yeah, it's a great choice. Great choice.
Yeah. It's worth a rewatch if anyone's listening or watching who hasn't watched it. Well, we're about to jump into our number 5s, but first, Matt, we should probably take a break for those who are listening to us on our podcast feed. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much. Thanks to those sponsors who sponsor the Top 10 show, and thanks to Matt and I for voicing and reading the copy for these sponsors.
Sure.
For the Top 10 show. Matt, what's your number 5?
So 5, I took Parasyte.
Okay. Oh, so just a mini punt. All right, cool.
Yeah, not by much.
Okay.
But between that and Snowpiercer, I was like, dude, he's making this list. And Parasyte, I know I'll be watching. Jojo Rabbit was still my favorite of this past year, but Parasyte was as good as the hype. And I still saw it relatively early. But everybody I know that had managed to get, see it at this festival or at this screener or whatnot was like, you got to see this one. This one's really good. And then you go to see it, and it fulfills all those expectations and more. Just a beautifully crafted movie from, moment one through, because there's so much that they're showing you within like the visuals to help tell the story, and then the dialogue, the interplay between. I can't wait to go back to see how you can see the dynamics of who they eventually, come to be in these little moments as it's building to its, final crescendo at the end.
Yeah.
And that brutal ending too on top of it.
Well, once again, it's one of these films that like you think is one thing, which is this family sneaking into this rich family and making fun of them and thinking they can be so crafty and clever and sneaky. And then once they get into that position, what you discover about one of the people that they kind of had removed from that house so they could slide in and take that job. And then it becomes incredibly insane at that point, because now you're dealing with 3 levels of class, and you're like, there's always someone below you, no matter what level you're at, there's always someone below you. And what that person below you might be hiding or holding close to their vest, you just don't know. And when it comes out, how do you react to it? So all of that dancing through is already enough of a calling card for the film. But then also the dialogue, the back and forth that happens, the progression of the characters, and the twists and turns as this thing picks up speed going down the tracks. You're just like, man, this is nuts. It becomes so tense. It becomes so tense. It becomes so tense and tension filled that you're just not sure who's going to live, who's going to die. And he doesn't let you off the hook, even at the end, even in the final seconds of the movie, he doesn't let you off the hook. And I love that.
Yeah, the ending, it's another one on top of that. You're like, all right, oh, this is the way it's going to end. Okay, no.
No.
Yeah, it's just, it's 2 movies he's made about class warfare.
Yeah.
So it's obviously an issue that means, quite a deal to him.
Yeah.
It's super interesting because it's beyond class warfare too, because it's a great interplay of just human nature. I guess that is class warfare on some level, but just to break it down and see the microcosm instead of the macro effect.
It's almost a human horror film, you could argue. Like the horror comes from the humans doing the things that they're doing.
Yeah, being themselves.
Yeah. And in some way, they almost redeemed the rich family for not being as
kind of
malevolent or manipulative.
Yeah, but they're all bad.
Yeah. Right. So
one
is, right.
Yeah, one is least bad. You know, they're at the lowest rung of all this.
Right.
Yeah, it's no one looks rosy in this ultimately.
Right.
So that was my 5. What do you got?
I got the director is Andrei Tarkovsky. The film is Solaris.
Okay.
Yeah. I love this film. It's a 3-hour film. It's a 3-hour Russian film and is one of the greatest sci-fi films ever made. And that the remake that Soderbergh did is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's good. But it's not to the level that Tarkovsky's film is, which is about this Russian astronaut whose wife has committed murder like committed suicide 4 or 5 years prior. And he is sent to go explore this planet. And he discovers this planet has an extraterrestrial creature. The planet itself is an extraterrestrial creature. And it goes inside of his mind and brings out the worst pain of his, which you discover is the suicide of his wife. So it takes the embodiment of his wife. So his wife shows up on the spaceship. Yeah. And he has to have these conversations with her about what happened and why it happened and trying to get the answers. And constantly he is like the answers are slipping right off the ends of his fingers throughout the movie as he's trying to also figure out and analyze this creature. And the deeper he tries to analyze the creature, the more he can't figure the creature out. Like the deeper the hole becomes, the distance between understanding the creature becomes, the more he tries. It's essentially quicksand, a mental and emotional quicksand throughout the whole movie. And it's so well done, so well shot. It's a 70s Russian film, but it's one I go back to all the time. And it's a Criterion collection too, if people want to pick it up, but it is so worth it. It's so incredibly worth it. And the Soderbergh one did a good job of summing it up in essence with its version, but the original Tarkovsky one gets real deep into what this is all about. And this idea of, because I mean, it's almost like I think it's his statement about women. The more you try to understand them, the deeper the hole becomes, because it's not about understanding, it's about accepting. And so it's just like that kind of thing kind of goes through the whole situation throughout. It's kind of bubbling underneath the surface of it throughout. So I always enjoy the movie for that.
Nice. Yeah, I knew it was a remake when Soderbergh did it, but I have never seen either. So I know I should, but I never remember type of thing. It never comes to the front of my mind. Go, oh yeah, you need to, because I do that. That's how I saw It's a Wonderful Life. Eventually, it's like you got to see this. You just do. You've seen so many others. Why are you,
holding out on this one? Yeah.
But same time, like I've never seen The Conversation. I need to see The Conversation.
Oh yeah,
I still haven't seen Fitzcarraldo. I still haven't seen. I know, but I'm sure you've got these too, where you said I've never seen X, and you're really, you haven't seen, because that's one of the no-brainers to me. But I've got a list in my head of like, you got to get to these at some point.
Yeah. Well, now's the time. We're self-isolated.
True. If I could talk Catherine into it, I would do it.
Yeah.
She prefers a TV show over a movie by and large.
Same here, brother.
So
we're getting into The Tunnel. If I can recommend a British show to you, if you guys haven't watched that one, it's on PBS SoCal. You got to pay the monthly fee of like $5, but it's worth it because it's a fantastic show. And they have a bunch of other shows on there that aren't like regularly available here in the States. But it's a French.
What's it called?
It's called The Tunnel, and it's based on the Swedish show The Bridge. And it's Stephen Delane, who was in Darkest Hour and Adams, and Clemence Poesy, who was the lead Bobaton in Harry Potter. She's like this, like not autistic, but she's just kind of like very singularly focused person. And she's French and he's English. And the show starts with this murder at the tunnel between England and France. and it's this body, and you think it's one body. When they pull it together, it's actually the legs of one body and the rest of the body of another person. So then they go on this the murder mystery, trying to figure out what happened here. And we just started the second season, which is a new crime having to do with bringing a plane down full of people for a reason. So they're together again and trying to figure this out. So it's a pretty awesome series if I can recommend it to you. So
okay,
yeah,
and perhaps always looking for something new.
Yeah. So are we, dude.
Yeah, we just grind through TV shows so quickly.
Yeah.
There's so much of it. So sometimes you're like, I'll give it 2-3 episodes. Like so far through Westwood, I've watched Westwood up to this point. 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
I could give 2 shits about what's going on so far.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm worried about walking back into it because I might not give a shit about it myself. So
you might be best served to wait. I think at this point, I might wait until the end and just bang it all at once because it's not good enough. It's a week.
Yeah.
Even though it'd be in the rotation, but I watch it. I'm like, I understand what's happening. I just don't understand why they're doing this.
Right. Oh, okay.
Anyway.
All right. What's your number 4?
4 for me is going to be On the Waterfront, Elia Kazan.
Yeah. See, great choice.
Yeah, I mean, look,
he's a foreign filmmaker. Can't deny.
He is a foreign. Well, it's a because you stipulated when you asked.
Non-English, right?
Yeah, can they speak English in it, or does it have to be all a different foreign language? And Chris, no, they could speak English in the film. It's fine, but just somebody in essence that was not born in the U.S. As a filmmaker from elsewhere outside of this country.
Yep.
All right, I'm good with that. Is fantastic. Streetcar is really good, but I chose On the Waterfront because I think it still holds up. A la It's a Wonderful Life. You could watch it today, just like 12 Angry Men. There's certain ones from that era that have a pacing that work beautifully for what people are conditioned to, and now watching movies.
Yeah.
And the whole I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody. I knew that speech, and then the first time you see it, it builds so nicely for that you could have been a contender, and you kind of rob him of that. And his identity and who he is, you feel for him.
Yeah, and it's not even about the fact that one person complaining that he could have achieved something greater. It's about the brotherhood. It's about the fact that them as brothers, he didn't take care of him. And it was the end of the innocence for Terry Malloy because I grew up thinking this was just the way it goes, that my brother was always going to be there for me and take care of me and put me in the right position. Yeah. And it's my brother who has to come down and tell me that I've got to throw that fight. My brother, the one he says, you were supposed to take care of me. You're supposed to look out for me. And he sacrificed his own brother for his boss. And it's like, man.
Yeah. For his own personal gain.
Yep.
And the destruction of that through a simple little speech, you knew that their relationship is completely fractured, if not, destroyed because of this one decision. And it's all your, it's really well done. If you've never seen On the Waterfront, go back and watch it. It's totally worth it. It's an all-timer for a reason.
I think it's my favorite Brando performance of anything.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Just, you get to see all kinds of, you get to see the innocence, you get to see him kind of be the tough kid. See this more hard-edged side, but then to watch him crumble in the cab or his car or something, whatever, later on, just like you feel it the whole time. And then the priest trying to get, and another class warfare type of thing, but unionize and value themselves. Like this is you're all in together, you can overcome it, but we have to, solidarity, guys.
Yeah. I mean, stuff with the pigeons is heartbreaking, but all right, my number 4 then is from Ingmar Bergman. It's The Seventh Seal.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this one, Matt. Have you ever seen this one? Okay.
I have not.
Okay. We just recently finished it on the Cinephiles, and it kind of made me fall back in love with the movie. I hadn't seen it quite some time. It's a tight 95 minutes. It's not that long of a movie, but it's amazingly well thought out and very powerful, a very powerful treatise on the idea of life and death, the idea of how to approach religion, because the film takes place right after the Black Plague. and the Crusades have ended. Max von Sydow is this knight who's gone off on the Crusades, comes back to find like most of his town completely wiped out from the Black Plague, and he's there with his squire, and they like kind of run into people on this journey as they're getting closer and closer to home. And in the meantime, death comes upon him in the first few minutes of the movie, and he challenges death to a game of chess for his life, and starts to have these philosophical discussions with death as they're having this game throughout the movie. And then all these other things happen as well that talks about the religion, talks about the oppressive nature of religion, and also about taking things for granted and all of that through the whole movie. And then of course the iconic ending shot of them all dancing the dance of death and across the mountain. And so to me, it's just a fantastic film that has so much to say about how we confront death, or how we come to terms with death and our reactions to it. And so I find that to be something that still sticks with me, and watching it again, even more so at an older age, as I get closer to that time of death, as opposed to the time of my birth. It's pretty cool to kind of look at all this and see the philosophical discussions that go on that are well written and tight and to the point, and making fun of religion, making fun of, not making fun, how can I say it? Exploring the hypocrisy of religion at times, but also the hypocrisy of people who think that they can judge religion. So it's like everyone is attacked throughout the movie, and I appreciate that.
No one has any idea.
Yeah,
so I actually sit and look down at others, and you're like, you have no more an idea than anyone else.
Yeah,
winging it. We're all fucking winging it.
It's true, very true.
Yeah. I mean, it's so well known that they lampoon it in Bill and Ted's.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best parts of that, the 2-movie arc.
Yeah.
Hands down. Once they bring death in, it's like this movie kicks up another notch, for me at least.
Yeah, agreed. And he's supposedly coming back for this third one, so I can't wait to see what
you have to. You got to bring him back. He was too good in the second one.
That's right. All right, what's your number 3, man?
So 3, I chose Amadeus.
Oh, dude.
Milos Forman.
Shit.
There's a lot of choices, man.
That's such a great choice.
There's a lot of great choices out there.
Damn it. Damn mad. I'm mad. That's a great choice. My dad is mad at me so much right now.
As soon as going through this, and I was like, dude, I mean, look, you could say that or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but if I'm going to be honest with you, Amadeus, and it's not even fucking close. All
right, I'm tossing my 3. Yeah, I'm tossing my 3. I was on the fence about it anyway, so screw it. Amadeus there too. I agree. I'm gonna.
What do you have at 3?
On your train? I had Fritz Lang's M, but I'll see Amadeus a million more times before I'll.
Hell yeah! I just rewatched. I watched the behind the scenes that I'd never seen before.
Oh wow!
Casting process and what it was like to shoot there, and dealing with the local fucking authorities and whatnot.
I'm sure.
Just all the crazy, like the woman that was cast as Amadeus's love interest. I can't remember the actress's name, but she's good in it. But they had someone else, and then I believe they got super sick, so they had to drop out with a week or 2 weeks to go, and they flew over 2 different actresses and kind of had them there, and ultimately settled on one, and then she was just there. It's like it happened so quickly for I believe that was the story of it. I mean, it was still a few months ago when I watched it. Like a 25-minute vignette thing you could find on YouTube.
Right.
The Amadeus to me is one of those movies. It's just perfect. It is absolutely perfect, and I love it.
Yep. I'm not going to deny that as well. That's I'm telling you, that's the one film my dad and I watched religiously in the house. There aren't many films he would quote. That one he quoted all the time. Whenever someone did something he thought was sneaky, he'd go, oh, in his noodle. He had it in his noodle the whole time. He would just make little jokes about that. So for me, it has a special place in my heart. And it's just a brilliantly well done film, man. And it's one of those films that's so deceptively fast paced and deceptively well shot that you don't even feel the length of the movie at all.
No.
And it's one of those rare performances from an actor who never, ever achieved that level of artistry in his acting, like Thomas Holtz did in Amadeus. He never ever achieved that again. It's just one of those like shooting star kind of things where the perfect role for the perfect actor at the perfect time, used all of his talents to the top of his abilities. and it stays in your mind forever, man. It stays in your mind forever.
Well, I mean, to open on Salieri, F. Murray Abraham, and that it's insane asylum, and he tried to commit suicide, so he has that tourniquet or whatever it is around, but it almost looks like a neckerchief type of thing. It's a stylish choice.
Yeah.
From his perspective, this jealous, religious man who's given everything to God, and why did you make this simpering fool your vessel?
Right.
I mean, you can taste the bitterness that drips from his tongue as he just spits these words, talking to that priest. It's so beautifully done. Over and over and over. I can watch just specific scenes. I can watch the whole thing. It will never get tiresome or boring for me.
The creature had her.
This. Anyway, so what do you got? That was your 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. Yeah, definitely. What's your 2, man?
2 is where I chose Kurosawa.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's a slight punt because that's my number 1. But do we want to wait on that one until we talk about it then, or should we talk about it now?
Because we have to. You might as well talk about it now because it's 2-1.
Okay. Sounds good.
We're likely going to do a 2-1 on the other.
Yeah.
Assume.
Maybe not.
Have we from any more of yours?
No. But you might have a 2 that I didn't think about, and I have a 2, and so maybe who knows? We'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, Kurosawa, Samurai, basically the buddy team up movie, Genesis, and that descriptor doesn't do it justice.
Yeah,
but I mean that's what it is. Basically, Band of Brothers movie where we have to take a collection of individuals that can overcome this massive problem. And it spawned so many movies since then. I mean, obviously, Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter. You can another within the same country, 13 Assassins. That movie doesn't exist if you don't have this 7 Samurai before.
Yeah.
But here, there is no Suicide Squad. There is no Avengers. There is no, more than likely, like any of these things.
Yeah. Agreed.
If this didn't exist at such a high level where others are like, I got to make my version of that.
Yeah.
Everybody is envious of it and can't believe they didn't think of it first. Right.
That's the thing. And once again, one of these films, it's 3 hours long. Doesn't feel like it at all. And you still have quiet scenes and what you would term slow scenes where not much action happens, but you're just so caught up in the incredible performances from every actor in that movie. Of course, Toshiro Mifune, I forget the Takashi Shimura, all these other actors that are involved in this film that just take you along through the journey. And of course, this one also has twists and turns, also about class, the idea of these poor farmers and them needing to hire these samurai who are, at this point, are a bunch of Ronins because there's not a lot of money in the land. There's not a lot of food in the land. So they're wandering around trying to find out where their next meal is coming from. Yeah. They get hired and they're willing to do it for less because at this point, the going rate, this is actually all right for the going rate. And they're willing to come across and do this. And then other reasons they get involved is, just one more adventure with a friend, or this feels like fun. Yeah. Why not? That kind of thing. And then you explore the idea of these poor people who are so desperate to have that help from the samurai. They hide their women from these samurai because they also look down on the samurai at the same time as these people who could take their women and rape their women. And so we'll use you as long as we can use you, but we don't want to actually welcome you fully into our tribe, into our culture.
Well,
it's incredible.
They're mercenaries.
Yeah, right.
So their loyalty can be bought. So how do you trust them?
Yeah.
And, they were samurai before when they had, what would be the honorific for the individual that they, the samurai were basically the warriors of a specific aristocracy.
Yeah.
And when that individual cut ties with them or dies or whatnot, or that kingdom dies, so to speak, then those men become mercenaries.
Ronin. Yeah, Ronin. Masterless samurai. Yeah.
Yeah. A masterless samurai. Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was a governor, then you would have samurai, if whatever the equivalent of that would be. But anyway, so it's tough to trust somebody when their loyalty can be bought.
Yeah.
And what happens if you run afoul of them? Well, that means more than likely their loyalty will be bought for even less or nothing.
Yeah, which gets explored later in the film, because when they discover, and it won't give away too much, but of course it is like 6 decades old, 7 decades old, when they discover the samurai armor from the previous samurai that they had hired to try to help them years ago, the samurai are like super pissed. This idea that, you know, you would use this and keep this and steal this from other samurai who've died in this situation. It's like, oh man, wow, there's so much to explore here that isn't just about the basic premise of these farmers hiring a samurai to overcome these villains. There's so much more class stuff working within the film as well, you know, and the idea of like would you discover about Toshiro Mifune's characters that he probably was a farmer in the past and a samurai, probably killed his family. And so his idea of power, because he is not that educated of a guy, is to become what had killed his family so that he could have some taste of power in his life. And of course, when that kid gets saved from the I don't know, the water mill out there, comes to terms with it and comes and sees it. You see it for the first time. And so there's so much within each of these characters that's so fun to explore throughout the movie. So yeah.
And then what was your 2?
My 2 was Cinema Paradiso.
Okay, not on my list.
Yeah. That's honestly, that's just top 10, top 5 for me, top 5 films ever. Honestly, it's just one of those love letters to cinema that I saw it at the right age in my life, in my 20s, that I fell just head over heels for and always go back and watch. And whenever I'm feeling down or sad or whatever, I can put it on and get lifted again. And of course, the tragedy of the one that got away, really decorates the film powerfully as well. But the relationship between the main kid and the projectionist, their love and their friendship throughout in Italy, you know, this is post World War II, I think, and what develops out of that. And of course, the kid becomes a great filmmaker. So it's all told in flashback, jumping back and forth in time. And seeing the progression of cinema and seeing the power of cinema and why we love films the way we do, and why so many people are currently going insane because they can't go to a movie theater. And although they are enjoying movies at home, there's just something cool about going to a movie theater. The lights are down and you're going to be shown a movie on a large scale for you. And so that's what this movie explores, all of that. And the power also to change people's moral stances, social compasses, things of that nature through the power of cinema. All of that gets explored here in this small story about this relationship between these two people as the kid grows up as well. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. My words are shit compared to how incredible the film is. I can't do it justice no matter how much I talk. So it's a brilliant...
it's one of those movies that those that have seen it over the years that crop up, you know, on Twitter or anywhere else, when they talk about it, you can tell that they're passionate about it. I've never really have anything but that type of opinion about the movie. It just hasn't been seen by I'm guessing the vast majority of, you know, moviegoers. Yeah.
And I want to give credit to the director because I forget his name all the time. Giuseppe, I think it's Giuseppe Tortato. But of course I've got fat fucking fingers, so I'm having trouble typing it out right now. Sorry. Cinema. Sorry. It is, Giuseppe Tornatore. Sorry, Giuseppe Tornatore. So, all right, what's your number 1, man?
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, Sergio Leone. Nice choice, man. Nice choice.
I'm amazed they didn't make your list.
Yeah, I mean, I like those films, dude. I like the films, but I don't know. I kind of like these other films a little bit better. But even though I know I'm the outlaw and it's on brand for me to choose it, but I've never been one of those people that's like, you know, has to adhere to the brand of this Western bullshit. Like, to me, it's like what I honestly feel. And I love the Sergio Leone films, but I don't ever put them in the top 10 films like in my mind of films directed by a foreign director. So, but great choice, man. I'm not going to argue you putting it up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's awesome. I don't know what we or anybody else could say that they haven't heard a million times. It's a beautifully constructed. It's basically, it shows you the height of what a Western, the type of story, the depth, and the stakes that you can tell via of a Western, and that's what makes a Western so compelling for guys like us, or you know, anybody out there that enjoys these types of movies. but the West allows for just that as a setting in and of itself to open it up beyond that. So long as you said like There Will Be Blood. It's basically, it's set in the West, so immediately you have this kind of outlaw, frontierish vibe, and it evokes something within you. But to have this be a template for a lot of what came after it, you can choose a lot of his work, but Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is my favorite, hands down.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think it's a fantastic film. It's to me, it's his best film that he's ever done, and I agree. He elevates the Western. It's one of those first few film. I'm sorry, how can I say this? It's one of the first films that ever elevated the Western genre out of what was like, you saw in the 40s and 50s thing. This is like something that kind of just took it to a whole nother place. And look, I love all those John Wayne films, but other than The Searchers, I don't think any of them belong in the conversation of like greatest films ever made. Certainly The Searchers does. And I think this film does as well in terms of a Western, the greatest Westerns ever made, because they take the genre and put it into a higher realm of existence. And this, of course, is brilliant too, Matt, because you got three different characters. Yes, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but they're all like gray in all the different areas that they can.
Exactly.
Van Cleef has a job to do, and he's going to go and find what he needs to find. He wants to get that money. Eastwood is more kind of floating along in the world, just, kind of seeing where the opportunities are and taking advantage of them when he can. And Eli Wallach is this guy who's just like, who's left. And you see that scene with his brother. So there's more depth to his desperation than you would initially think when you see the first part of the movie. It isn't until he sees his brother that you're like, oh, there's way more going on here underneath the surface of this guy.
Yeah, he's not two-dimensional. He becomes alive in that moment because you realize, like, look, he's not a good guy, but at the same time, he's done some positive things that we have of. Somebody else who was pious gets cut down. Like, where were you when all this was happening? You ran away. Yeah. And he's right. And you don't often get that, because usually the connotation of Western, by and large, leading up to this movie is like, it's a shoot 'em up, probably a revenge story or something like that, or a homesteader trying to protect his. Yes, look, people get shot, people die, but that's part of, it's more about the nature of human beings than it is just about this simplistic, I'm trying to get buried treasure type of shit.
Yeah, and you compare Eli Wallach's character in Magnificent Seven versus his character in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's completely different. In Magnificent Seven, he's a villain too, but there's no depth to his villainy necessarily other than trying to feed his men. Whereas in this, there's so much more going on for him, and you see that, which is why I would always put The Good, the Bad, the Ugly above Magnificent Seven. Yeah.
I don't even question it in my mind.
Yeah.
Which is one is clearly superior to me. All right, so those are our two lists.
Yeah, those are our individual lists. Now let's compile this thing. I've got the bongos. Do you want to write? Are you able to write, or do you want me to do this again this week?
I mean, I'll have, my fingers in the way as I do it like this, but yeah, I can do it.
Okay. I imagine we're doing Kurosawa and Seven Samurai 1, since that's 1-2 for us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I got the bongos right here. Yeah.
All right, and then after that, we both have now Amadeus at 3. So
I'm down with that. Come on and rock me, Amadeus. Yeah.
Well, let's see. Parasyte, we have at 5-7. We don't have anything else.
Not that I know of. No, we didn't. You didn't put All Boy on.
No.
You don't have Seventh Seal on, so yeah, I don't think so.
No. All right, so what's your next highest then?
Cinema Paradiso at 2.
All right, so then I've got Good, the Bad at 2, and then we have Parasyte at 5-7. So those should be, in my estimation, the next 3.
Okay.
How do you want to do this?
How should we do this? I mean,
I can flip a coin and grab my camera because it's on my laptop, and I can show you where it lands.
I'll trust you.
We can do this. We'll have a little fun with this.
Let's do it.
What you can only do.
I'm doing a little.
That is not
Let's
it.
see.
This is. For those that have never seen,
yeah,
boom.
There it is.
That on that side, that on that side.
All right.
Because I think it should just be whoever wins there two, loser there two, and then Parasyte. Good with that?
That makes sense.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
You see it?
Ah, you son of a bitch. Fine.
The thing of beauty, baby. All right.
Oh, well. I mean, if you had seen it, we could have a different conversation, but because you haven't.
All right. So what do you got next as your next highest?
Well, we put Amadeus in, right? So
yep.
I have Seventh Seal at 4.
All right. That is higher than anything else. I've got I've got On the Waterfront. Pardon me, On the Waterfront at 4.
Come on now.
Seventh Seal there since you just lost the other one.
Thank you. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it.
Typing it out. I got to have some sort of order here. What do you got next? I got my 6.
Okay, I've got Solaris at 5.
Solaris it is. All right.
And then I've got my 6. Oh boy, what's your 6?
Spirited Away.
Okay. Well, I mean, you gave me the last one, so you can take this one if you want.
All right, there we go. Done and done.
Wow. Boom. Okay. All right. Let's get into this. The top 10 movies by a non-English speaking director. Yeah. At number 10.
Old Boy.
At number 9.
Spirited Away.
At number 8.
Solaris.
At number 7.
On the Waterfront.
At number 6.
Seventh Seal.
At number 5.
Parasyte.
At number 4.
Cinema Paradiso.
Let me see here. Let me adjust this real quick. Sorry about that. Let me adjust this real quick. And okay, there we go. At number 3.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
At number 2.
Amadeus.
And our number 1 film by a non-English speaking director is
Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And you're right. There are a lot of choices we could have gone with. A lot of different directors. A lot of great movies from non-English speaking directors that we could have explored. And thank you to Chris Alexakos for the topic. It was a lot of fun talking about some movies we hadn't talked about in a bit. So cool stuff.
Yeah. And look, these directors may be able to speak English. Basically, in essence, English isn't their first language.
Right. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Maybe we'll title it like that, but that seems like a long title. This already seems like a long title. It was a great topic because all kinds of different movies qualify for this. So
right.
Alexakos, this is a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Chris, for helping us out week in, week out with the show.
Yeah.
It means the world to us. Sorry, I was trying to plug my laptop back in after having moved it.
Yeah. And sorry we couldn't pick any Greek directors, Chris. Sorry about that. Yeah. Just the way the cookie crumbled.
Yeah, I don't. Are there?
What
thing that made these levels of type of movies?
I
don't know. I'm legitimately asking. I can think of one off the top of my head. It doesn't mean there isn't one.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. Thank you to you and to everybody that supports us over at patreon.com/the top 10. We thoroughly appreciate it. We hope you guys are enjoying Topic Thunder on the free feed. That is thanks to everybody that supports us at Patreon. And they know where they can send their questions and topics into that. You can find the email address over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10.
Or you can look above. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Oh, right there, right above John's head.
Kaboom.
Done and done. And yeah, you can follow me at my handle. You see on the screen right there at Matt Knost. And check out my podcast, Embrace the Hate, and search for that anywhere you get podcasts. And I think that's it for me this week.
Yeah, there you go. You can follow me at The Rocha Says right there below me on Twitter and on Instagram. Of course, Please follow or subscribe to my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/John Rocha Says, the Outlaw Nation YouTube channel there. All that stuff going on there. You can see everything we're doing on that side of the fence. So thank you all so much. And please let us know in the comment section below what your lists are. We always love seeing your lists. What did we miss? What should we have considered? Things of that nature. So please let us know down there below and tweet at us your thoughts as well. And echo Matt's sentiments. Thank you so much to Chris for all the work he does for us. And we will talk to you next time on a brand new episode of the Top 10 Show.